Now, the most common thing out there today I see, or the thing that's popular and up and coming, is this thing called tapping. So
Yes,
basically, straight out, from your experience and understanding of the body and the energies, do you think this is something people can do safely, or should they completely avoid it?
I would probably avoid it.
Hello, everybody. It's Paul Neeson with the Real Life Health Show. We got a great guest on the show today. His name's Alfonso. Alfonso, welcome to the Real Life Health Show.
Thank you for having me on.
Alfonso, I'm very excited about today's topic because people need to know about it. And I think you're a great person to talk to this about. So many people are contacting me about this thing called tapping and this energy medicine or whatever we want to refer to it as. And you have done a good study on this. First, give us your background, Alfonso. What do you do? What's your love? What's your study? And then we'll talk more about the topic.
As well, my name's Alfonso, of course, and I'm a naturopathic doctor currently. But I originally started out as electrical engineer, and after some time, I felt that God or Yahweh was calling me to ministry. So I went to seminary, and it was then when I got sick, and I knew pretty quickly that modern medicine had nothing to offer. So I started looking into alternatives or natural medicine, and then I found it to be actually a lot more biblical approach. So that's when I changed my focus again and went into natural medicine. And because of my past with electrical engineering and the biblical approach to things, I wanted to specialize on studying the energetic systems of the body and really understand how do the energy systems really work. And that's what I do now. I am a naturopathic doctor, but I like to specialize on the bioenergetic systems of the body because I've always liked energetics and physics and electrical engineering. And now I just kind of do it from a human perspective instead of actually working on computers or electrical circuits and stuff like that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're so happy to have you on the show, and we need to clear up some misconceptions and really straighten things people out here because right away when somebody mentions energy, there's a new age connotation attached to it. Or energy flowing to the body or anything like this. So first, before we start anything, tell us a
Right.
little about that the unseen energies, how they connect not only to our body but to our health. Can you explain that?
Yes. Well, simply put, Einstein said E equals mc squared, and I think everybody knows this, that everything's energy. Well, a lot of times we don't really take that to the next step of realizing, okay, there's energy systems in the body, and Yahweh created them. Satan didn't invent these energy systems on our body to deceive us. There are energy systems. The problem is uh, when we get into studying these things, the New Age community has really taken the forefront. And because of that, they put in a lot of New Age teachings and stuff that doesn't really need to be there. I mean, the very bottom line is everything is a frequency. And if you think about that, that's the major principle I want everyone to think about through this whole discussion. A frequency is active power and information. And when I mean active power, I mean the power to accomplish something. Like if you were looking at a motor, you would say horsepower. Well, those two things make up a frequency, and frequencies then vibrate and manifest into the physical world as physical things. Um, and when you think about that, that's a creation principle. It's not an evolutionary principle because you had to have a one true God who was all powerful enough and was all knowing to put the correct information with the correct active power so that it can actually accomplish his purpose. And really, on a bottom line, our body is made up of all kinds of these frequencies that he designed specifically. And when they manifest into the physical, you have the physical body. And what happens is with all the New Age teachings and all this other stuff, it gets all jumbled up, and there's a lot of extra added stuff that doesn't need to be there. And, sometimes it even gets into spiritual things that are pretty dangerous. And it doesn't have to be that way. I mean, we could just simply look at the laws of physics and realize that our body just like everything else in his creation, is based on laws of science and laws of energy. And those things are related to our mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And then that develops, or we would say manifests, into the physical body and how it's functioning.
Wonderful. Now, it's not only people that have these energies, from what I understand. It's also things like somebody would say something like linen, the cloth linen has a certain frequency versus synthetic cloths, and when a person wears linen, it frequency goes up or something like this. Have you heard this?
Yes, and we do know that it is true. The second principle I'd like to point out is we're going to talk about.
Well. How do we know that's true? Because people have saying this, but is there scientific evidence to back this up? How do we know that's true?
Really, it would be more of empirical studies. That just when you're looking at coherence, like in physics, we call something it's called in phase coherence and out of phase incoherence. Well, in phase coherence means that something is communicating correctly. That's you driving down the road and you have a radio station on. If you go under a bridge and the station gets all and you can't really hear the message, that's out of phase incoherence. And what we have found is when you have mixed fabrics or synthetic fabrics on the body, it starts that same process in the body. And it's just a process of empirical studies of, someone wears synthetic clothes for a while and then versus someone who's wearing natural fibers. And, that's how these studies have come along.
Well, what are they testing? Are these people connected to some machine to show the energy flow? What exactly is being tested?
Yeah, there's different machines out there. Like Biomeridian has one out there. Well, I shouldn't probably use names, but there's a number of different machines that use like electrodermal screening, and that is a very simple machine, almost like a ohm meter that you would use in electronics, and they can test like acupuncture points on the body. And there was a study done about 60 years ago, and the guy was Dr. Volt, and he proved that there was a difference between acupuncture points and non-acupuncture points by using this type of test. And there's more advanced ones today where, like hand cradles and other things. But yeah, there are methods out there.
All right, and you were going to tell us now about a second principle.
Yeah, that principle is resonation. So, um, the subtle energy systems we are finding, like proper circulation and resonance. And when I say resonance, I'm using the word resonation. Sometimes that doesn't come clear to people, but um, like a principle of a tuning fork. You hit it and it resonates. Uh, Now, a lot of methods out there don't use subtle approaches like that. They use approaches of stimulation. And that is where the danger can get into because the body really doesn't like what we call stimulation or manipulation because that's more of a forcing of the energy.
All right, so give us the difference between the forcing of the energy versus one of the safe ways to do it. Can you give us examples, maybe in common things that are used today? Which one would be a safer way versus which one would be the unhealthy way?
Oh, yeah.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.